Even remembering I was even there, because I think your brain protects you from feelings, and you literally, you're numb because everybody was crying. There was such a media circus, plus all of the fans, plus all of the public awareness, that I found myself weeks, months, and years after comforting everyone else.
Did you want to be near Judy? Is that why you've come?
Yes, that's why.
Why is that kind of necessary to you?
Well, because I loved her, you know.
You have no time to mourn. To lose a parent so publicly, and to lose a parent to the disease of addiction, and to lose a parent to something that none of us knew anything about. We didn't know how it worked. We didn't know it was a disease, and neither did she. So when people talk about the day she passed away and how that weekend became the springboard for the riots in New York City, for Stonewall, for the entire gay uprising, and how the gay community has embraced my mother's memory, has embraced her legacy, and made sure that none of us forget her. I've always been grateful for. And to this day, I mean, when I go into West Hollywood, and my daughter was really little, and she said, "Mommy, what are those flags?" And I said, "Well, that's the gay flag." And she said, "Why is it a rainbow?" And I said, "Because it's a rainbow for your grandmother." Everybody lost their legend. Everybody else lost their icon. I lost my mom. Honey, I went nuts. I had a banquette at Studio 54 with my name on it. I mean, listen, I did everything to excess and all of that. And do I regret it? No, I had a great time. I was snorting up Peru, practically.
I look at my sister, and she knows more about this disease. I think she and I, together in the world, know more about this disease than a lot of families, because we've dealt with it.
We were both doing it together, okay? We were both having a good time together. All right.
Together?
Yeah, we were having a party. Listen, Studio 54, we were all having a good time. I remember standing at the bar at Studio 54, and I was pretty well whacked out of my brains. It was good. And somebody said to me, "Don't you think you may be doing what your mother did?" And I said, no. She had a problem. I only do it at night. What? I mean, okay. Where's the big stupid on my forehead? It was there. One morning I woke up and I was hungover and sick. And I thought, this is stupid. And I swear there's a saying, you get sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And I really did. So I can't do this anymore. I literally one day said, I can't do this anymore. And I stopped.
You know, my sister has always amazed me. She was born a survivor. She, to me, when she gets going in a straight line, it's very hard to divert her. You know, she has something in mind and she really goes at it.
When I found out that Liza was having trouble stopping, I thought to myself, I know I've seen this movie and I know how it ends, so I don't want to go through this again. So I said that I would find out everything I could to help her.
You know, Lorna saw that I didn't have a choice. She did something. She helped me.
She's the one who took you to Betty Ford.
She did. She did.
But the point was, Betty Ford was there.
That's right.
That's the most important thing. I didn't go out and brick by brick build it. It was there.
And she didn't haul me off.
Exactly. I mean,
she said, I
made
think
the
you're in
choice
trouble
to go. okay?
But she brought it up. She said, I think you're in trouble. And I said, what do you think I should do? And she said, I think you should go to Betty Ford. And I said, okay. I really did.
And you had no idea what it was, right?
No, I just knew that
I didn't know what it
trusted
was.
that it would be help.
Lorna actually was talking about it, saying, look, when my mother was pregnant with me and Liza and Joey, she was addicted. She was a sick person. And basically, we were born against the odds. Do you feel angry about it, or do you understand her?
It wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault. It's like being angry for somebody giving you any other disease that you inherit. How can that be their fault?
With our mom, she didn't have the choice. There wasn't any place. But the most important thing is we are so fortunate and so lucky to live in today where there is education, there is knowledge, there are facilities, and it's not in the closet anymore.
The ultimate thing that I found out about myself, that it's not something to be ashamed of because you don't have control over it. You really don't. And shame is a word that I think should never be uttered. Not the worst thing you can say to another person, and the unforgivable thing to me to say to a child, is you should be ashamed of yourself. How dare anybody think they can say that to anybody else? How dare they?
What is the most hurtful thing that was written about your mom that really got you?
I think the one thing that I don't like is that myth that she was this tragic figure, that she was always waking up, crying, and she was this poor little tragic figure, and she was just, so tragic and tragic. She hated that, and we hate that.
Maybe it will distress a lot of people, but I've had an awfully nice life. I really have had.
I think it will surprise a lot of people who kind of like to think of you as a
tragedy.
The poor little rich girl.
Never rich,
well,
just
not that,
poor
but, in the same
and
time.
sad.
When you hear people say, oh, I knew Judy, and she was tragic, they're lying. They didn't know her, and she wasn't tragic. It's the people who say she was truly one of the funniest women that they'd ever known, and really warm and really loving and very, very accessible.
The only mistake I ever did, the only harm I ever did was sing Over the Rainbow. So I don't think that I should get any more than a traffic ticket for that. But to be called anything that is not true, I don't like it.
How do you explain to your kids, grandmother died? What do you say?
For years, I thought, okay, when this subject comes up, how am I going to deal with all of this? How am I going to tell him? How am I going to, because he was little. I was in London doing a show, and I was getting ready to come home, and my then husband, their father, called me, and he was really upset. He said, something happened at school, and I said, and I wasn't at home. I was in London, he was in L.A., and I said, what happened at school? He said, Jesse was playing a Trivial Pursuit game, and it said which movie star died of a drug overdose, and it was his grandmother. And that's how he found out. And that was my worst nightmare come true. All right? It was my nightmare that had come true.
When it's all said and done, when it's all over, you're not remembered for what you did. You're remembered for how you made people feel. And that's what Judy does for me. I don't really care what she did. I know that I felt so deeply, and still do, when I see her work or when I hear her work. It gets me so deeply that it doesn't even matter what she's doing.
I think we have a pretty normal relationship. I mean, all sisters have their ups and their downs and all of it. It's just ours are in a fishbowl.
We're sisters. We fight. We're passionate people. We were raised that way.
At the end of the day, we have each other, and that's the good news. The bad news is that everybody else wants to be in the room with us to see, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to say? And are they, we used to joke that we should have some big knockdown, drag-out fight in front of everybody, give them what they want. That's what people want. My mom, at one point, she had a writer who was coming to interview her for a book.